Hi, Clint Kuhns here with the Anderson Business Advisors, and in this video I will be discussing wholesaling real estate. All right, let's get started. All right guys, so when it comes to wholesaling real estate, here's the basic premise, right? You are going to be entering into a contract to purchase property, and you're not actually going to be closing on the property yourself. What you intend to do is transfer that contract to a third party. That is referred to as an assignment. Now, when I transfer it to someone else, I'm going to do it via a sale. That is, I'm going to sell you the rights to close on this property because I found the deal. The deal has significant upside, so you as the investor, you didn't have to go out there and search this deal down. I did all the hard work for you. All you have to do is come in now and rehab the property and take advantage of the upside potential in this particular investment. Now, in order to do that, though, you have to structure these deals in a way that allows you to assign the rights to close on that property to a third party. Because here's the problem. Unless you live in Texas, where all contracts are freely assignable for the purchase of real estate, you're going to face a problem where a seller may not consent to an assignment. In fact, I've seen many agreements where people put them together and they put, Clint Kuhns and/or assigns as the purchaser, and the seller looks at that language and they say, no, I don't like that. It's just you. You can't assign this to a third party. Their concern is that, of course, there's too much upside there on the deal and they're missing out on something. So they want you to close. Also, realtors do not like working with wholesalers because they know they're not going to get that deal, that they're not going to actually close on the property. They're just there to tie it up and then flip it to someone else. So there's a couple different things going on here when it comes to wholesaling. One, if you want to work with realtors that'll find you deals, you don't want them to know you're a wholesaler. Two, you want to be able to assign that agreement over. And something else, if you're a real estate investor, you're also a wholesaler. People think you have to be one over the other. If you're a flipper or buy and hold or you're a wholesaler, not at all. You'll always be a wholesaler if you are out there looking for deals, because you can't take every deal that you get. You are going to sometimes get a few offers accepted. You can't close on all of them, so why not take that offer and kick it off to a third party you can and make a little money in the process. So the key here is, how do you set up these deals? Well, what you want to do oftentimes is enter into the agreement in the name of an entity. And the couple different entities that you can focus on is you can use a limited liability company, an LLC, to make your offer. So this would be a way to put in an offer on a piece of property here with a seller. So in this instance here's the seller. The purchase and sale agreement is between the seller and the limited liability company. Now, of course, you would take that LLC then. If you're down here, you own the LLC. Once this property's tied up in the name of the limited liability company, go out there and find your investor who wants to buy this from you. So then you would sell them your LLC interest. So you sell the LLC interest here to this investor right here. So now they'll step into your shoes, take control of this limited liability company, and then they're going to be able to close on the property in the name of the LLC. You see, the purchase and sale agreement itself states that the contract is not assignable. We are not assigning the contract, right? The contract runs to the LLC. What we're doing is we're assigning the limited liability company. All right, so that's one way to do it. Another way to structure these deals is, if you don't want to use an LLC to set them up, then what I would create is something that we've put together, and that is referred to as a wholesale trust. So I'm just going to put this one, a wholesale trust. Now, with a wholesale trust, unlike a limited liability company, which requires that you register it with the Secretary of State in order to create the entity and pay a filing fee, with a wholesale trust, you don't have to register it anywhere. There are no fees involved with the wholesale trust. And it operates exactly the same way as the LLC strategy. What you'll do is you'll create your trust. You will be the trustee over here of your trust, and you're going to be down here as the beneficiary. Now, the trust, like the LLC, has the ability to enter into contracts. So you could enter into a contract on behalf of your trust to purchase a piece of real estate. So going back to the example I used earlier, here's the house, here's the seller now over here. What I will do is I'll make my offer in the name of the trust, and then we have a purchase and sale agreement between the trust and the seller to buy that particular piece of property. Now, this trust strategy I came up with several years ago because several of our clients were buying HUD or trying to wholesale HUD-owned properties. And they would find these tremendous HUD deals, but they couldn't wholesale it to someone else because HUD required that you close in the name of the offeror or where the purchase and sale agreement was entered into. So you ended up having to do a double close. Now the risk in a double close is that your investor that you intend to come behind you doesn't come behind you and buy the property from you. So there's some risk there in doing a double close, and that's why the wholesale transaction is so much better, because you step out of it right away once you're able to sell this off. So in this situation, you sell what it is you own. The purchase and sale agreement goes to the trust. So what we'll do, if we find our investor over here who's interested in purchasing this property, we'll tell them, hey, I'm going to sell you my beneficial interest in this wholesale trust. So then you become the beneficiary investor. And then I'm also going to resign my position as trustee and make you the trustee. So now the investor is in control of the trust as the trustee. They're the owner of the trust as the beneficiary. So now they can close on that property with the seller. And the seller is none the wiser because their agreement runs to the trust. It doesn't run to the individual. That gives you the flexibility to wholesale these deals off. I have a lot of clients that use this strategy for the wholesale trust. It's something that we created. We have a wholesale trust kit that we do sell to individual investors should they be interested in this. But it's a great tool. So you can use either the limited liability company or the wholesale trust to assign these agreements off. Now, a couple things to keep in mind here. When you're doing these types of deals, you have to be aware of where you should be setting up your LLC, who should be owning the LLC from a tax planning standpoint. Because if you recall, if you've watched my other videos, what I do talk about a lot is the importance of looking at real estate investing as a three-legged stool. You have tax planning, you have asset protection, you have business planning. We want to make sure that when we're setting all of this up, we are paying particular attention to all three legs to make sure this is going to work out to be the most beneficial for us. So the wholesale deal, it's a great way to go. We'll typically use a wholesale trust, or we'll use a limited liability company to structure these deals. Again, the details, something we'd want to talk about one-on-one on how to do this, but this is the basic way you do it and you're able to go forward. And so, as you can imagine, if you're putting in multiple offers, what does that tell you? You should have multiple trusts or multiple LLCs for each offer. So if they get accepted, then you can take that one and sell it off to an investor. And then the ones that you want to keep, you keep in your other trusts or your other LLCs. All right, my name is Clint Coons with Anderson Business Advisors, and in this video we covered wholesale of real estate.